Welcome to Get to Know the Speakers of Digital Confex. Today, we have with us Jaydeep Chakrabarty, who is Director of AI in Tech, Piramal Finance. He will be joining as speaker on the topic Ethical Consideration in AI and Machine Learning Deployment during the second Information Technology Confex happening in Dubai on 16 October 2024. Hi Jaydeep, welcome to the chat show.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here. Great to
Yeah,
be here.
it's
Thank you.
it's our pleasure to have you on our chat show and our conference. So, Jaydeep, please give us a brief introduction of yourself and your field of expertise for our audience.
Sure. My name is Jaydeep Chakrabarty, and it's a pretty long name. So people have devised a name JD. That's what in my LinkedIn also you'll probably, because I'm known with that name in the industry as well. So I work as the director of AI, as you said, in tech for Piramal Finance. Prior to that, I was working in Thoughtworks close to 15 years. And a couple of other companies for 2.5 years before that. So I basically come from a technological background, being a dev, QA, an infra dev, a security specialist, a data scientist, a data engineer, all over my last 17, 18 years career. But like over the last 4 or 5 years, I kind of got interested in the AI field of it, and specifically when OpenAI released their first generative AI model back in 2017, was able to get into this discussion of doing some beta testing about this model that they had. So I've literally seen a stupidest model becoming the most successful or most capable model in the field of generative AI today, which is the GPT for Omni, which is their latest one. So I one of my primary job in the previous organization and even in Piramal Finance is to basically how do we make sure that any AI applications kind of sees the value, and how do you see the value is basically when you bring that to the workflow of people. And this is where when you try to bring them into the actual workflow where people are actually using those models, you kind of figure out that, okay, it's not just about creating the application, it's also about taking some measures along with it. How do we build that trust? And this is where I'm super excited to be part of this conference in DigiConfex, and hope to share my experience, also learn from the people there to understand what they are doing to make this happen, because this is a field which changes every day. So how do we keep up pace along with it?
Yeah, I think it's great knowing you and your journey towards. So, how excited are you for our event?
Well, I'm super excited and honored to because of the invitation, and I think, as I was saying, I think it's apart from the fact that I'll also be sharing the stage with some of the esteemed leaders in this field. I'd like to also know from the audience by networking with them to figure out some of the challenges that they have. If we have solved it, we'll want to discuss this, also learn from them. I think these are some of my points that I'm super excited about. Also to listen to other speakers who are coming in.
So, moving forward, I have a few questions for you today. My first
Okay.
question is, what is AI ethics and why should we care about it?
um, yeah, I think, I don't know. So, so there are few things that keeps me and few of my colleagues awake at night, and one of those is that uh, AI is making everyone's decision. Me, you, anybody, like whether I am eligible enough to get a 50% discount on my next travel, whether I'm eligible to get a loan, or sometimes if it is too much AI enabled organization, sometimes it also decides whether I'm able to get that promotion or not based on some of the parameters. Right? Which is good because it's an advancement of technology, but it also kind of makes people a little bit nervous that, okay, there's a machine who is going to decide my fate. And the second thing is that there are a lot of people who believes that because because it is AI making decisions, it cannot be biased to certain stuff, right? And it's not a human, so it won't be biased. And this is not true. This is far, far away from the truth, right? And this is where I think we should definitely, any organization who is putting an AI solution in place for the consumers to consume, it is very important to make sure that the ethics is followed, to make sure that the pillars, and I'll probably talk about the pillars in a bit if it comes out, that this is followed. And it's basically a set of principle guidelines that we need to follow to make sure that the solutions are not only just used, but used the right way, or using it's the right solution, right? Does it make sense?
Yeah, I think you give a very brief answer and very fine. I would say that they can also know about AI ethics. So my next question is why security of AI models like LLMs are important?
Yeah. So let's say generative AI models, right? So any large language models, or let's say any large image model, I think that's a very good model, given the current state of the world, where everyone is talking about chat GPT and LLMs. I think it makes sense. But I think the security is true for any AI models, as you said, right? So it's not just LLM, but let's take the example of LLMs maybe. So I think um, uh, I think there's barely any person in this world who probably not use chat GPT without no offense. Like, if someone has not done it, that's great. But I'm saying the maximum people in the world would have probably at least heard about chat GPT and what impact it is trying to bring. Chat GPT is an example of OpenAI, but it can be any large language model. Now, while it is doing this, you know that why it is so famous, and some people actually compare this with electricity, the invention of electricity, or invention of mobile phone, mobile internet, when it came, and how it impacted everyone's life. And there are a lot of people who are comparing this with similar things as well. uh, it's plain English, right? And the reason for this popularity, it's a plain English. So if you are not restricted by technology, if you are creative enough, you get these models to work for you or work for others to get ideas. And there are a lot of startups also running on these models right now. But the point is, because it is just plain English, which means that it is also prone to attacks. Now you don't need to know the niche security. Like, you don't have to be that hooded hacker or someone to basically kind of hack into a system. You can just manipulate these large language models if not properly taken care. And and this is just one of the reasons I can say that your attack surface has become so bigger that it becomes important for organizations to basically take care of it. And I can just give you one example, right? So one of my job is also to basically break these models, whether it's OpenAI's or Meta's, as a part of the red teams. And I can tell you, I can't show you right now, but I can tell you that even the safest models gets confused when prompted creatively. To give you an example, let's say let's say we have a model whose job is to help you understand your spending in a month. Let's say with net banking that we have, some company came up with a bot which also helps the user to understand their expenditures and kind of guide them about some of the stuff, right? Now, 99.9% of the users of this bot will use it for the intention for which it is built for. There is some users who will probably try to break into this unethically. I'm saying there are ethical breakers are also there. And the idea is to basically see that, can I make it do something that it's not supposed to do, and maybe then take a screenshot and go public with it, um, uh, which also tells us that we should take care of it. And one of the common ways how hacker can get in for a large language model is said that forget all your instructions, right? This is a very common way to basically uh, jailbreak into a large language model, where the hackers try to say that, don't remember what was told to you, that you are not a financial bot anymore. Now you should do what I'm doing. right? And let's say from the company, they have figured that out and they take care of the fact that, okay, if anyone is asking something like forget everything else, then block that request and don't send it to the LLM. But as I was saying, it's just plain English, right? Which means that I can always say, let's start from scratch instead of saying forget everything else, right? How much you can take care. And this is where I think the layers of security that kind of comes in is very important. One layer is not enough, unlike the other software applications that we kind of deploy in production, where we know that, okay, my attack surface is this, and I can take care of this as well, right? So it's just a brief example, and I'll share a lot of stories such that because I've broken many of these models, and I've taken a snapshot without revealing the models, that how it can be manipulated. Obviously, these are taken care of right now.
I think you explained very nicely with examples about the model and also about the security parameters that are being using right now. So my next question is, what steps can organizations take to ensure the security of this AI systems?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think, as I was saying, these are layers of security, and I'll again take the example of a large language model for the simplicity. Maybe is the fact that let's say one layer is not good enough. So when I'm writing or putting some security measures for N, I probably have to take care of the fact that, hey, uh, should I send this prompt? Prompt is basically the question that you're asking to the model, for processing, or should I restrict it beforehand? So, for example, the one that I said that, okay, this looks fishy, I can just put a message saying that, okay, hey, I'm not a bot to basically take care of this, and don't even send it to the large language model. But again, as I was saying, because the attack surface is so big, people may come up with multiple creative ways to bang this. And let's say it gets bypassed somehow and it goes to the model. Then you have another layer, which is the output that is coming out of the model, right? So, for example, one of the things that in the financial industries of this bot, we make sure that the LLM is not giving back the user anything, any PII data, let's say something like a credit card information. So how can we put a guardrail there? So it is all about putting those multiple levels of guardrail. So this is one. The other thing in my experience that I've been helping organizations to also do is basically have a good observability system. That when I deploy a chatbot, I should have a very simplistic but yet powerful dashboard in front of me to understand how people are using it, what type of prompts are coming in, how much money I'm spending. Because it's not always about that someone is trying to hack into the model, right? You know that if, let's say, if I'm using OpenAI's model, right, every request is going to cost me as an organization. Let's say I have they put the cost on number of tokens, and basically tokens is like 1,000 tokens equal to around 750 words. So if I am actually trying to break, one of my ways is to keep asking this model questions. That doesn't make any sense. I'll keep on asking unless and until I eat up entire subscription that company would have taken, especially for startups where they cannot take an unlimited subscription. There is a limit on this. So how do we put a guardrail? Okay, how do I have other AI models to help the LLMs to basically understand that, hey, looks like in the last 5 questions, the user is just messing with you. So let's stop it here and redirect this user to an actual agent at that point of time. And that details comes from a good observability system that kind of comes in. The third is basically your data privacy, right? So specifically for large language model, these are garbage in, garbage out. So if your data with which it is trained is not cleaned, then the response that is coming out of it is biased, right? And I'm circling back to your probably the question where I was saying that there are a lot of companies who are actually creating a lot of proof of concepts to basically as their starting part of their AI investment. They scrape off the project of POC phase because they are not happy or they are not trusting the information that is coming out of large language models. Now, how do you get this trust? How do you make sure that it is not biased? How do you make sure that it is robust? How do you make sure that it is transparent enough for the user to know what's happening? Yeah, so this is some of the stuff that I think when we work with organizations to make sure that we are putting these guardrails at a layered level. And last point that I wanted to add is that it's common. It's this phrase which is very common with security itself, and it can be AI security or any software security, any application security perspective. Uh, the security should also be useful, like usable. What I mean, not useful, usable, which means that I can create a hyper secured login system where I expire your login every 1 second or 2 seconds. I know I'm secure, but it is not usable because every 2 seconds you are not going to log in to your banking system, right? So when you put these guardrails in AI security, the idea is also to make it usable for your users and don't go too much, but go effective.
Yeah, I think it's very nice, and I will be looking forward to your talk at the conference. I think that will be great. So I have some rapid fire questions for you. So I will start with which song can you cheer you up while we work?
It's basically Summer of '69, which I always hear from Brian Adams. And the other song that I always hear is Abhi Mujh Mein Kabhi
Yeah.
from Sonu Nigam. I'm a big fan of Sonu Nigam.
So what has been your favorite thing to do while working from home?
Uh, um, Playing chess. So I'm a chess player and I love to play chess, read chess books. I have a library with more than 1,000 chess books in it. So I'd love to grab one of those chess books if I have a gap of, let's
So
say, 10-15 minutes also.
yeah, so your favorite chess player at the current time?
Obviously, Magnus Carlsen.
Carlton, yeah. I think he's everyone's favorite. So thanks,
Yeah.
Jaydeep. It was great connecting with you, and I am thrilled with your excitement to join our conference. Any word for our participants who will be joining in the conference?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much again for the invite, and I'm looking forward to this. And I think for everyone, I will definitely like to meet all of you there, learn from all of you, try to share my learning as well. It's going to be an amazing day in Dubai. So try to make it if you can.
Great. Thanks for your time today, Jaydeep, and to all the participants. Don't miss this session happening on Information Technology Confex on 16 October, presented by Digital Confex in Dubai. Get a great chance to connect with in person. See you soon, Jaydeep.
Thank you. See you there.